Hi, everybody. This is Sam Odushalo. I have a question for you. Are you tired? Are you checked out? Are you burnt out at work? If you answered yes to that question, then you're not alone. According to recent research, about 66% of the population are currently burnt out at work. Whoa, 66%. That's about two-thirds of the workers that are disengaged. And there are many reasons why people become burned out. It could be their job, they're being overloaded because of the massive layoffs. It could be the fact that, they don't get along with their boss or their colleagues, or their values don't agree with the organization. There are many reasons why people are burnt out or checked out. But I'm going to tell you my burnout story. So I was working for a Fortune 100 company. You heard me right. Not a Fortune 500. I mean a Fortune 100. I mean top of the line company. And I had the dream, right? I had good money. I had a good boss. I had great benefits, and I had a high profile job. And I was doing the job, and I was put over this project, and I was doing the work, working hard, doing what you do on a job, and I started to, which I didn't notice at the time, but pretty slowly but surely, my energy started to drain. I started to drain my energy. I'd go to work, do my work, go home, and then pretty soon I started to actually dread the work. Like I'd be waking up, especially on a Sunday night, Sunday morning, knowing that the next day I was going to this job. Started to dread the work. And then, it all came to head one day. I went to work, just had a soul sucking day. I don't know if you've had one of those hard days. And man, at the end of the day, all I remember was getting in my car. And the next thing I know, I was in my driveway. And I was just trying to get some breather before I got in the house. I get in the house, and all I can remember is that my kids were talking to me, but because my mind was fried, I was totally gone. I couldn't hear them. Usually my kids run when I'd come home. My kids would run, jump on me, or hug me and say, "Daddy, Daddy." They talk to me. This time they were talking, but I couldn't hear them. My wife literally had to interrupt my thinking and said, "Sam, Sam." I was like, "What?" He said, "Your kids are talking to you," and I literally had to come out of my brain that was distracted with all of the stress to actually say hi. And she's like, "What's babe? What's wrong? What's going on?" And literally, I didn't know what to say. I couldn't even express what it was. It's like I don't know. And she says, "Babe, something's have to give because like this is not good." I remember going to bed that night. I couldn't sleep all night because I was trying to figure out what was wrong with me. I mean, I felt like my soul was sucked out of me. I just felt like my soul was gone. I thought I was dealing with depression. Like literally, I had pretty much thought I was depressed. And in that moment, all night, and when I woke up that next morning after staying up all night, got on my bed, and I determined that I was going to go to work and I was going to quit. Like that was, I don't think I even discussed that with my wife. I just couldn't take it anymore. I was done. I said something has to change. And anyway, I get to work, and while I was working, my boss notices that I'm not my old self, that I'm not smiling, just something is really wrong with Sam. So she comes to me, she asks me, "Sam, what's wrong?" Like I was like, I couldn't really tell her, and I knew I had to tell her, but I was just like, I know what to say. She said, "Let's step in the office." So I get in her office, and she's asked me, "Be real with me. What's going on with you?" And I said to her, I said, "Des, I can't do this anymore." She said, "What do you mean?" I said, I can't do this more. I've got to quit. I cannot do this anymore. I am done. It's over." And she said, and she was shocked. She's like, "Sam, give me a chance. Before you end this, please give me an opportunity to fix this." And we talked about it, and she basically decided that she was going to go out there and fix it. And so she got out there, and here's what she did. She advocated for me. Pretty soon she started to craft the work. So basically kind of craft my work in a sense that, some of the work that was draining the life out of me because she knew me. We had I would say a personal, professional relationship, but she knew me personally. And so she started to take off my table things that were really against who I was as far as draining work. And then she started to align me with work that was more, I guess, engaging. And so my engagement levels started to go up. Pretty soon an opportunity came and she actually recommended me for it. Now in that new opportunity, I was able to do all the things that I had gifts for. I was passionate about. I mean, this work made me come alive. And here's what happened. For I don't know, I can't explain it, but basically burnout was banished. And here's the kicker. I was actually doing more work in the next role. I was doing all night. I'd come first thing in the morning. I'd be there late. And even after work, I was still doing the work. But it was different. So I realized that it wasn't the work. It wasn't the amount of the work. It was the fact that the work had meaning. And I was engaged in this work. And pretty soon, I started to make large impacts in the organization with leaders. I was a leadership. I did a lot of leadership development programming and delivering some of that. And pretty soon I became the go-to guy for leadership development. Pretty soon I started to make large impacts. The ROI for what I was doing was growing. My name started to spread across the organization. So I had impact, but also I had to influence. Like senior leaders started to know my names. They started to request for me personally to do the work. I mean, I was getting all kinds of awards, all kinds of accolades. Pretty soon I was getting promotion. I was now over everything. And pretty soon, we were just delivering programs all across the globe, including Europe, APAC, and the United States. And all of that and beyond that, I started to get bonuses, awards. In fact, I doubled my salary in that role. And it all became so clear to me. And I love that role too. I've left the role now, but I love that role, enjoyed it, and made such an impact in that organization that they won workplace awards because of the work we were doing. Three times consecutively, they were the best workplace awards because of the work we were doing. I said that to say, not to impress you, but to impress upon you that I believe, and here's what I've come to learn, that every leader and professional can alleviate their burnout. Now, it depends on the burnout, but generally speaking, they can alleviate their burnout if they start to do work that aligns with their authentic purpose. If they do work that aligns with their authentic purpose, because that was the difference for me. I was working hard in the new role. I had a lot of responsibilities. By all indications, you would think I would be burnt out in that role versus the first one. The difference was the role I was in aligned with my authentic purpose. That's why I was able to elevate my impact, my influence, and my income. So I want to say to you that as you think about the role that you're in currently, ask yourself, is this aligned with who I am? Is this allow me to express the best of who I am? If not, then I would say, if you're asking me, Sam, how do I start? I would say start with self-awareness. Become self-aware of what it is that's happening that's burning you out, that is draining you, that is draining the life out of you. It's better to start with self-awareness because that self-awareness could be like in my situation, it could be that it's a wrong fit, or it could be that the role that you're in or the current work that you're doing is not allowing you to express your strengths, your gifts, your passions, the things that make you you. It's not allowing you to be you. And if you are in a role that goes against who you are, pretty soon it's going to lead to burnout. So most times people try to fix burnout. Organizations do that by saying, take a vacation. The truth of the matter is not the vacation. What you're looking for, what you need is a vocation. Sometimes people say, hey, get rest and, just take time to, self-care. Care for yourself, and those things are fine. You should take care of yourself. You should get the rest that you get. You should go on vacations. Trust me, I do that, and you should too. But here's what I've found, that sometimes those things are band-aids. They're short fixes. And if you don't get the root cause of it right, then more likely you come from vacation, but you still feel tired. You do the self-care, but you still think that you still need to be cared for. And so in most cases, it's we have to kind of start looking at what we don't look at, which is the work itself aligning with who you are? And if it's not, let's start with self-awareness. What's burning you out? What's the cause of your burnout? Is it the work? Is it the boss? Is it the culture? What is it? Once you figure that out, then you can fix it. The other piece is to become a self-aware of what I call your inner GPS. I said this before in one of my other videos. We're all born with our inner GPS. Basically, it's like this. If you're ever lost in your life, what do? We turn our GPS and it gets us to our destination. Well, in order to get to work that lights us up, in order to get to work that I call purposeful, I call it purposeful work. In order to get to purposeful work, you have to find out what's your inner GPS. And that GPS is an acronym that stands for, what are your gifts? What are the things that you do well and enjoy most? What are your passions? What are the things that you desire, things that you are interested in, that you can contribute? And when I say passion, I am not talking about the traditional word, do what you love or follow your passion. I'm really talking about things that you are interested in doing that serves others. So let me give you a definition of passion. Passion is what you love to do that serves others. So if you have a passion for vacation, that's great and dandy, but that is a hobby. That's not passion when it comes to work. So what are your gifts? What are your passion? And then what is your signature service? What are some ways that you can uniquely take your gift and passion and contribute and add value to the organization, or add value to the workplace, or add value to your customers? Because that GPS will lead you to what I call purposeful work. And purposeful work is an antidote to burnout. So the question is, what kind of work are you doing today? Are you doing paycheck work? Are you doing purposeful work? My challenge to you is that you start to do purposeful work. And hopefully that will alleviate your burnout. For more information on this kind of work, if you like this video, please like, share, subscribe so this message can go across the globe and help as many people as possible. Well, thank you for your time. I'll talk to you next time.